So if you live in Quebec, beware, because carbon tax is not applicable here. They just use something else, and that's the provincial government of Quebec. They have their own thing. So what it means is that when Mark Carney cut down on the carbon tax, everyone in Canada, besides Quebec, I think, had lower prices for gas because the carbon tax was removed. I think it was something along those lines, 15-20 cents or something along those lines. So if you go in Ontario, for example, the price of gas will be cheaper. But for here in Quebec, it's kind of different. The tax works differently. They just take the money and do whatever with it, I think. So it's a bit different. And they decided to keep it. Only thing they did was to remove it was a fixed low and high price, I think you could get to. So for example, like most stores where they sell things like Walmart or anything, they have some prices that they cannot go below or above. So unless the manufacturer allows to. So for example, a bottle of Coke, for example, a 2 liter of Coke that you couldn't get for $2, for example, and Coke says you cannot sell it for under $2, so Walmart has to sell it. The minimum price is $2, for example. For gas, it was around the same thing with Quebec, at least that I know of. It was a minimum and maximum price, and now it changed. So what it did actually is that it fucked up everything in some way, but other way it's good. It depends on where you live actually. Before, back in the days when you were living in Montreal, gas prices were always higher because it's a big city, and I don't know why it was always like that. And when you were going outside of Montreal, the furthest you were going from Montreal, it was cheaper. It was always like that. Now it's different. A lot of times Montreal is gonna be not the cheapest, but will be close. But when you go north of Montreal, Laval, Terrebonne, some places in Terrebonne, not all those places are gonna be cheaper now. Sometimes because of those fixed price limits they were putting, it was the gas price was kind of similar, unless you were going really far outside of Montreal. Then it was maybe 10 cents cheaper, 8 cents a liter. But now it really varies. For example, yesterday I was in the South Shore of Montreal, Mont-Saint-Hilaire, those places. And gas price was $1.59 I saw. Maximum I saw was $1.59 a liter. And after that I went north to Montreal North, not Montreal North, but Laval. In Laval I saw it for $1.44. So that's a lot actually. A lot of times you'll see maybe like I said, 5 cents, 6 cents difference. But there it was 15 cents. That was a lot actually. Because it allows them for the gas station to cover their cost and make better or margins depending on their volume, I would think, because they get gas cheaper They will charge more for gas sometimes because they're in a like strategic position to serve people, and they just know that when you're coming out of the highway, you kind of want to. If you gas up, it's because you really need it, and thus you will pay more, even if it costs more. You're gonna pay anyway, and you know that. So I think that's the logic behind that. But I was really surprised to see the difference, and I was wondering, like, I was seeing, because I always look at the gas prices. It doesn't really matter for me. I always put $50, but of course I have to put more often since gas prices are higher now. But and for me, going to work almost costs nothing in gas. It's like really close, and this car is pretty economical for considering it's like 520 horsepower ish. It does pretty well on gas. It's just also the difference between regular and 94 and 91. The difference really varies also. That's another thing that changed. It was a bit more consistent before, and now it's really like, it really depends. You have to like look around, and if you're really like looking to pay the least possible, I would say to really look around, because it really varies. Like, a lot of times I'll go like 1 or 2 streets further down, and then gas is gonna be like 8, 9, even like 10 cents cheaper sometimes, just because you're changing neighborhood. That's a little thing that changed. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I was wondering, like, I was seeing gas prices were not the usual. It was changing. Like, it's not more expensive or anything. It's just that there's big gaps between gas stations and their prices. So I was like, what the fuck? Like, some stations were like always the cheapest, and now it's like it changed. So I guess like you have to look around and find something, find the cheapest, the closest to you. That was my little video talking about this, but tell me if you noticed, and how much you pay if you're outside Montreal, outside Quebec. I'd be curious to know. Here we pay liters per liter, so it seems like it's cheaper, but it's not. If you're American, you're gonna be like, oh shit, you're paying $1.50. But in reality, we pay almost $5 a gallon. It's really expensive here. And I think most of our gases are coming from Alberta, so it's not really. Basically, I think we get the same gas that the US gets, but the US just sells it cheaper for some reason. Which is kind of crazy when you think about that. Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one, guys. Peace. just made like a huge shed with 3 garage doors. Kind of crazy. This thing's massive. You see, in those types of road or neighborhoods, you'll find like new constructions that are massive, like sometimes close to $1 million or even more. Next to it, you'll find like an old house that's been there for like 50 years, and like this in front. Those are expensive though, but like you'll find some regular houses that are cheaper, and it's just people that are not rich. They just bought this a long time ago for the prices that it was before. So you'll find like a contrast of actually rich people and some that are just okay financially. What is crazy here also in Quebec is that there's not much inspections on houses when they are built, so and that's like really bad. So if you get a house, you really need to be prepared and find out, do inspections and really know what you're buying, because you could have some surprise. I would not want to buy a house here, that's for sure. Like, another difference here. Like here on the left, there's a Proxy, which is a gas station here. Arnois, which is it's not Chevron, it's another name in the US, but it's a well-known brand. Anyway, I'm here in Lorraine. Lanoret, I mean, and gas was $1.39. This gas station's always like cheapest, and it looks really good. Like if you want to take pictures and stuff, it looks really good with the lights and stuff. There's a bunch of lights at nighttime. Oh my god, that's so awesome! Wow, this guy just cut everyone. What an asshole. Yeah, the gas prices is often cheaper there, but I cannot gas there anymore. I gas 94, so. And most, or all the gas stations here is 91. It's the maximum they go. Well, the exhaust pipe on this Q50 is ugly as fuck.